In the relentless, roaring North African sun, a man squints his eyes as sweat beads run down his weathered face. But the heat is the least of his worries. The man's limbs are tightly tied down to a wooden table. He's surrounded by men, each armed with a razor-sharp knife intended for use on his flesh. The victim lets out a shrieking shrill as the men start their operation, but they're not simply cutting his body. Each man is slicing through his skin like a hot knife through butter, peeling back his dermis to reveal a fleshy mess of tendons, bones, and cartilage. The tortured man is Sisamnes. This is the story of how he met his end in the most torturous of circumstances. To uncover this turbulent tale, we need to first go back to 530 BCE. During this time, Cambyses II was the king of the Achaemenid Empire. Despite only ruling for 8 years, he marked his reign with conquests in North Africa. Based in modern-day Iran, it was the largest empire in history by that point, spanning from the Balkans to Egypt. Aside from expanding his empire, Cambyses II became known for his angered antics. The Greek historian Herodotus termed him as the Mad King. According to Herodotus, Cambyses II married 2 of his sisters. He was also accused of burning the corpse of Egyptian pharaoh Amasis and slayed an Apis calf, which was worshipped as a god in ancient Egyptian religion. However, Herodotus' account appears to have been derived mostly from Egyptian oral tradition, making it likely to be biased. One account of Cambyses II's ruthlessness that is more verifiable is his treatment of Sisamnes. Sisamnes was a royal judge active in the Persian Empire during the reign of Cambyses II. Not much is known about the life of Sisamnes, other than the fact he accepted a bribe from a party in a lawsuit, resulting in him rendering an unjust verdict. In ancient Persia, even lying was punishable with the death penalty. Here it was considered that getting punished with a simple execution, like hanging or beheading, was getting off lightly. With all that, you can imagine Sisamnes' horror as he discovered that Cambyses had heard of this corruption offence. Tragically for the judge, his punishment was even crueler than he could have imagined. Cambyses elected to kill the victim by flaying him alive. Flaying was the practice of removing the victim's skin in strips, prolonging the excruciating execution, creating an unimaginable sensation of pain as each strip was removed. It was never documented how long it took for Sisamnes to perish. In some cases, the subject dies in hours. In others, it takes days. If the severe shock of the flaying didn't kill him, the loss of blood likely would. Before long, infections would ravage the exposed flesh as the spoiled corpse rotted in the searing heat. Yet, Cambyses wasn't finished with the perverted punishment there. After flaying the skin of the now deceased Sisamnes, the Persian king ordered for the stringy substance to be strung onto the chair on which the judge had used to deliver his verdicts. But still, Cambyses' cursed creativity didn't stop there. The conniving king ordered Otanes, Sisamnes' son, to replace the stricken judge. Cambyses warned Otanes to bear in mind the familiar source of leather on the chair that he'd sit on to deliver his decisions. You will sit to administer justice upon the skin of your delinquent father. Should anyone incite you to do evil, remember his fate. Look down upon your father's skin, lest his fate befall you. Over 2,000 years later, the troublesome torture of Sisamnes came into popular thinking again. In 1498, Dutch artist Gerard David was commissioned by the Alderman of Bruges to paint 2 panels depicting the ancient tale. When finished, the artwork, known as the Judgment of Cambyses, would be hung in the chambers of the Alderman in the town hall. On the left panel, a group stands before the accused red-robed Sisamnes, sitting on a chair before them. The bearded central figure in the group is Cambyses, counting on his fingers Sisamnes' acts of bribery. On the right panel, the scene is more striking. The unrobed Sisamnes is at the centre, his face contorted by a grimacing expression, as his arms and legs are tied down to a wooden table. Surrounding him are 4 flayers, each busily slicing the skin away from the flesh. In the background is a figure seated on a chair. It's Otanes, sitting on the flayed skin of his father. It may seem strange for such a gruesome painting to be commissioned in 15th century Europe, but it's for good reason. It was intended as a warning to the local magistrates who would see the painting every day, making sure they'd uphold their duty to render justice free of corruption. In 1488, around the time the painting was commissioned, Bruges was in the midst of a revolt against the Holy Roman Emperor, Maximilian I. The city had recently executed several high-ranking officials who had been loyal to Maximilian. Clearly, the alderman intended this painting as a warning. Anyone who followed the path of Sisamnes would meet a similar end too. So brutal was the flaying of Sisamnes, its message was plastered on the walls of a Belgian court over 2,000 years after the event. Even in the 21st century, its story is still repeated, a tale as captivating as it is nauseating. Never has one event encapsulated the brutality of human cruelty and punishment so well. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, then feel free to like, comment and subscribe below.